Someone commented, imagine running a nuclear sub on Windows. Sir, we've got the launch authorization. Windows, installing updates, 1%.
Welcome to GCP Bytes, episode number 37 for Friday, the 27th of March, 2026. GCP Bytes is a podcast where we discuss Google Cloud and tech. And I'm your host, Stephen Bancroft. On today's show, everyone is banning Microsoft, sorry. How bad is the Strait of Hormuz thing? Is the Wiz deal finally done? Plus, who's in on this AI agent bandwagon now? Find out in the AI wars. But before we get to any of that, I'd like to introduce the co-host of the show, Dave Wall. How are you, Dave?
I am good. I just filled out a mortgage application to refuel my car.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that as well. And plus our very own GDE, Ian Brown. How are you, Ian?
Oh, mate, I think I'm a little bit worse off than Dave. He's only got a little tank. The patrol sucks the fuel.
Oh, yeah. I made a funny comment to my wife the other day. Oh, these clowns have my car for a very long time. I made a funny comment to my wife the other day. It's like, I'll finally get the truck back and then I'll have to park it in the garage for 12 months because we won't be able to afford to drive it.
So, are you getting it back?
There's movement. Yeah, there is. Well, the guy said to me, it could be back to you by Easter. So I said, what about the tune? He says, well, it's got to go to Newcastle to get tuned. So, well, yeah, we'll have to work that out. But
hang on, wasn't that happening 6 months ago?
Oh, my God.
Wasn't it last Easter?
Let's not go into it now. Any day now. It's become a meme around the house. Any day, we'll get it back any day now.
There's movement at the station for the word had passed around.
Exactly, yeah. So I spoke to
your grandkids are going to love it when it finally does.
Yeah, they will. It'll be great.
They're going to be like, look at this relic of the past. Is this what you used to drive back in the 1900s?
Pretty much, yeah. And I've got that brand new EV sitting out there alongside it. We're not driving either vehicle at the moment. It's like, luckily we've got this EV, right? Like we just don't. It's not driving the other vehicles. But you watched four-wheel drive action, right? And you've seen Sean Whale on there. He had a little short come up in my feed the other day. It cost him $750 to fill up his Land Cruiser.
Yeah. Well, I mean, admittedly, he's got 240 litres in that 200 series.
Holy moly, yeah.
But, yeah, it's like $3.20 a litre here at the moment.
Yeah.
It's insane amounts of money for diesel. I'm actually quite thankful that I'm running a petrol now because,
a couple of days and the petrol's going to be at that same price.
Yeah, well, I hope not because I've still got a 4,500 kilometre trip to Bendigo and back. But the price of 98 at the moment is $2.65 or $2.68 a litre. Mm. So, it's a bit more expensive the further west you go, but it's not that much more expensive. I think it hits like $2.80.
Yeah.
Where I am, I saw diesel was at $2.99.99 at like every petrol station for a few days. So it was like they just trying to
didn't want to crack
to stay below that psychological barrier.
Yeah.
And then now $3.15.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, now
up.
we're over it. Now we're off to the races.
Yeah. And look, I think the only thing that the government can do here to drop the price of fuel is to cut the excise on it for a period of time. Because we pay 50% fuel excise.
No.
No?
It's a fixed amount. It's 51 cents per litre what we pay.
Is it?
It's not a percentage. It's not like GST.
It's not a percentage. No, it's a fixed amount.
I always thought it was a percentage.
No.
Right.
But yes,
well,
I mean...
the GST scales on it. But
the GST and the excise could be reduced or removed, in short term. But, I mean, what's going to happen? We're just going to end up back at $3, right? That's how it seems.
Yeah. Yep. It's scary.
Well, we do have an article discussing the Strait of Hormuz later in the show because it affects more than just fuel crisis. And it affects our beloved AI chips. So we're going to be discussing that a little bit later. But you guys been up to any tech adventures in the fortnight?
Oh, mate, I have been glued into Windsurf, and I know I sent this to you last week, I think it was. But so
run us through it.
So Google brought in this thing where you've got a base allocation of credits.
They call it AI credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got a baseline quota and then a plan quota, essentially. And if you hit the baseline quota, you get blocked out until that baseline quota resets, which it takes longer than the actual plan quota, which is stupid. But anyway.
And it's different for different models, depending on which model you end up using. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd hit the baseline quota and it just wasn't resetting for me. And I'm like, I need to get this workout. And like, I could do it manually myself, but it would take 10 times as long. So I'm just going to find a different model that I can use.
And by this point, we're all cooked and we've all forgotten how to code anyway. So just forget the AI just to do it for us. Yeah.
And it's 9 o'clock at night and I'd been working all day and I'm just like, my brain's fried. I just need to get this code out.
Yeah.
So anyway, I found Windsurf IDE, which uses the SWE model. The SWE model is specifically designed for software engineering, hence the SWE.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'll give this a try. They've got a trial there. It's a like 14-day trial or whatever it is, and then it's $15 US a month. I was completely blown away. It is 100 times faster than Gemini. It's just as accurate, if not more so. And I burn less credits. I can actually see in the IDE how many credits I'm burning on every single request.
Yeah, that was one of my bugbears as well. It's very difficult to tell with the Google product what's my status. Yeah, geez, I've run out now. Where can I find this information? And there's a plugin that you pointed me to, but that even that is it's not very obvious how much credits you've got left.
And the one thing that sort of bugged me a little bit about the Gemini model in anti-gravity is that it will just sit there and churn. Like it'll sit there and think and think and think and think and think. And that's just burning tokens, constantly burning tokens. Whereas you don't seem to get that. And I've done some pretty complex stuff in Windsurf at the moment. Yeah. It's not interested in sitting there churning tokens to try and come up with some elaborate solution. It's like, this is what you need to do. Do you want me to implement it? Yes. And it goes and does it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there is a subscription as well, and that seemed pretty reasonably priced to me.
Yeah, it's $15 a month for I think it's Pro. I think it's the one I'm connected to.
Yep.
I can't even remember now. But
the free plan is quite generous as well.
Yeah, the free plan is quite generous. You can get access to any model you can think of, literally. When you go down to the little model selector there, if you click search all models, you can use SWE. SWE fast, so they've got SWE 1.5, which costs you the token ratio is 1-to-1, and then the fast is 0.5 to 1. So for every query, you're churning 0.5 of a token or credit or whatever the measurement is. You've got Claude Sonnet, you've got Claude Opus, you've got Kimi, you've got GPT, you've got all the Gemini models, you've got GLM models, you've got Grok, Minimax, like you name it, you've got it. They're all there.
Yep. Very good. Well, that's Windsurf IDE. Go check it out. Can you do local? Can you point to a custom API?
I'd imagine you just have to update the settings to do that.
Update the settings.
I never tried.
Yeah, because I've got my local LLM working. So to do this, I'm using the Tesla P4 card that I mentioned before on the show. It's a Pascal generation chip, and so which means it doesn't have any tensor cores. But it's got 8 gig of VRAM, which is more than enough to run Qwen 3.5, 6B or 5B, or Llama 3.1. Any of those smaller 8B models can run in there. Now to do this was a little bit of a challenge. My main server is a bit of an old machine. It's a ASUS X58, which is that generation of Intel chipset that had the triple band, the triple band DDR. So you use 3 DDR chips, and it gives you 3 times the throughput. Now, according to the manufacturer and the manual and everything, the biggest chip you can put in there is an Intel 990X, and it can take 24 gig of RAM. But there's been some internet sleuthing, and they discovered on the most recent version of the BIOS, which I already had installed, they just slipped in there a little upgrade for a Xeon chip, and it can run a 5690, which picked up one of them from China for $20, threw it in there, and a couple of advantages running of 5690. Now there's stacks of PCI lanes on this motherboard. So it opens up all those PCI lanes. You can run full 3 X16 slots at full tilt, and you can go from 24 gig to 48 gig of RAM because it has the extra memory addressing.
Oh, what, 6 DIMMs or
6 DIMMs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it is DDR3, but I did manage to find some of that. Brought it in from Germany. It was about $180 for those 6 DIMMs. And I'll tell you what, they were like new. They came in packaging all sealed up and everything. They seemed new. So I was pretty happy with that. So I threw that in there. The other reason I needed the 5690 is because it properly supports the IOMMU, which is the VTD pass-through. The 990X doesn't support that. So what that enabled me to do then was enable the PCI pass-through, passed it through to a container, and lo and behold, that container can see the Tesla P4, bang, run OLAMA on it, can do all my inferencing, all running locally, all nicely. Yeah look, nice. It works. It really works. And the speed, it generates tokens. Now, I haven't done an actual benchmark on it, but it generates tokens at about reading pace. So you can comfortably ask it a question and just read what comes through. Haven't tried it with any coding yet. I haven't had any serious coding exercises to do just at the moment, but I do have a couple planned. But yeah, if I want to run a local LLM, I mean, it's an 8-bean model, so you would expect the expectations are kept low. But Quen models seems pretty, pretty capable. So I've been experimenting with a couple of different models, and I think I'm going to stick with that one for the time. But yeah, that's been quite a little successful adventure. It's working quite well.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, very good.
And
you
got
the RAM from, where'd you say, Germany?
Yeah, Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because the postage from Germany is not astronomical. Because you want to buy something from the US, you might be paying $40 for the item, but then you're going to pay $80 for postage. Why is postage from the US so expensive? It's crazy.
Well, you've got to tariff things coming in and out of the US.
Oh, it's wild.
It seems like the logical thing to do.
But yeah, I mean, even with the postage, getting these 6 DDR3s was cheaper to get it from Germany than source it locally.
Yeah, wow.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice. Happy with that.
Yeah, very happy with that. And it's in there at the moment churning away, and I can go and do some inferencing. Yeah, the only thing, it doesn't have tensor cores, so it does offload some of that inferencing to the CPU. But I've given it 4 cores, and they max out when it runs. But with the extra memory, I was able to give it actually a fixed 16 gig of RAM, and it can, if any layers spill over in the system RAM, it's got it available. And very good. Yeah, it all worked quite nicely. So yeah, nice little experiment.
And to answer your question about whether you can connect Windsurf to a local LLM, I just Googled it because that's what you do. You install, according to this Reddit thread that I'm looking at, because Windsurf IDE is essentially just sort of like a Codium style IDE. It's like VS Code / anti-gravity.
Yeah, it's another fork of that.
Yeah, exactly. So you just install this extension. The one they've quoted here is continue.dev, and then you can connect your local LLM to that, and off it goes.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then so it doesn't cost you anything tokens-wise then because it's running on your own tin.
Yeah, running locally on your own tin. Yeah. Yep.
No, very nice.
You can fire as much as you like at it. Yeah. The speed's not as great though in my case, but there are if I wanted to take it up with a bigger graphics card, then the speed would obviously improve.
Yeah,
sure. And if you wanted to do more of your agent stuff, like your OpenClaw, you're doing, that would be great, right? Because
the agents just work in the background, and it's out of band. That's right, it's in the background. It doesn't really matter if it's a little bit slow, right?
Oh,
yeah, nice.
And so all of this got me thinking a little bit. Why do we need software anymore? I'm just going to put this out there. Like, honestly, like, and this is an existential crisis I think a lot of coders are going through at the moment. I'm seeing things like guys like Primetime and that on YouTube. If I can just go to an LLM and just ask it to say, I need to do blah. Look, I don't even need to build a piece of software, right? We have the ultimate thing, right? I just need blah done. It just goes and does it, right?
Yeah.
Why do I need that extra step in between to say, I want to build a software that does blah when you've got a thing that already does blah? Like,
I think there's going to be some softwares that you just can't replace. Like I know my wife works on an insurance policy platform that you just, like, LLMs just can't do that. It's, I mean, yet. Like writing insurance contract policies and all that sort of nonsense. We're not there yet. I mean, sure, we might be in a few years' time, but at this point, we're not. There's other things. There's like the hypervisors and all that sort of stuff. It's all still software. We need it in order to run stuff. And container D and all that. I think we all need that stuff to run software. But yeah, your average run of the mill sort of software on your desktop, probably not.
The one thing it's probably more about like how you use it, how you design your software, that I think probably would change it. Because one thing that seems to occur is that if you're vibe coding a monolith, it ends up being huge.
Right.
Right? Like, it's way bigger than you would ever code it out by hand because it's laborious, right? So you end up with a lot more than you need.
It's not as refined or optimized.
No, correct. But I wonder if you were building like microservices, right? Then it'd be much easier for when you're getting the AI to actually like get its head around the context. You know, if you just, I'm scripting it, I just want you to write this function and then throw it into Cloud Run. Great.
Smaller bite-sized chunks. Yeah.
I don't need you to be SAP.
Yeah.
But I do want you to be able to, like, every 15 minutes pull data from this system and then transform it and ship it over to this other system. I want you to write that function and then go away.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably more where that's certainly right now where it's slotting into our, that's our use case for it at the moment. But, because you remember watching Star Trek, computer, I'd like you to simulate me, whatever. And it just goes off and does it, right? Like, is that what we've got now? That's we've got that now, right?
There.
Yeah, that's
we've talked about OpenClaw before. That still gives me pause. I'm more inclined for some of the more refined versions of like the same principle. We're going to talk about a couple of them soon. And I know like Claude just released their co-work piece in the last couple of days. So that's, again, their model of like, okay, yeah, you can have Claude running, so you sit a Mac Mini sitting on your desktop and that's got the agent running on it, and you can just text it and say, hey, go, like, I'm in traffic. Can you export this slide deck as a PDF for me and email it?
The possibility of that is just insane. That's what got me so excited about OpenClaw. But we will get onto that because NVIDIA wants a piece of this pie as well, and we've got a story on that later. But I saw your cursor flicking around the screen there. Let's get on with a couple of funny ones before we move on to the community items. 1+1 DDR kits. The situation's got so bad now. I'll chuck a link for this in the show notes, but you can get a 1+1 value pack, which gives you one DDR and a filler DDR to make it look like you've got two.
And I'm like, from a aesthetic point of view, I see where this is coming from. But from a practical point of view, I'm like, So
it is just because we should have it. It looks nice if we have 2 DIMMs or 4 DIMMs.
We fill them all up.
I want them all to be RGB.
And all the RGB colours.
Oh, dear.
And so, because this article on video cards links to Newegg, right, down the bottom.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at Newegg to see, all right, what's the actual price of this DDR? Because we've all seen like the I think they're calling it the Rampocalypse or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Where it's just insanely expensive.
That's why this has come about. This is why this exists, because of this Rampocalypse.
And there's like, okay, you can get 64 gig of RAM and it's going to cost you $1,400. There's 2 32 gig sticks. Right? And I'm like, that's
US dollars.
But no, this is in Australian dollars.
Aussie dollars.
This is on Newegg Australia.
Right, okay.
But the ones that I don't understand is, we were chatting about this before we started, was that V-Color are releasing memory sticks that have got a little OLED display on the side of them that shows you the temperature of the DIMM. And I'm like, A, I don't look inside the case of my computer, and B, they sit side by side. You're not going to be able to read it. What's the point?
Yeah, and I guess my comment on that is, why make RAM more expensive than it needs to be?
Well,
right?
That's right. I mean, it's already hideously expensive. I think when I was looking at the US site, they had like 256 gig of RAM or something like that for, so 256 gig in 832 gig DIMMs at 6400 megahertz. They were overclocked ECC registered DIMMs, and that 256 gig of DDR5 that is not RGB lit up or any nonsense like that is $10,000.
You don't need 256 gig in a Windows machine, but that's a discussion for another day.
You don't. You don't need 256 gig for anything, unless you're in a server.
No, that's right. Yeah, but it's not going to get cheaper. Once again, we do have an article later on discussing the Strait of Hormuz, which is going to affect everything. But before we move on to that, one thing that came across my desk across my YouTube feed last night, Germany is banning Microsoft Teams, and they're moving to the ODF format.
Yep.
All their documents need to be in ODF. This is going to happen by 2028, by the way.
So lots and lots of European countries have been doing this. There's the one story I saw a few years ago was all about data sovereignty, because none of the big players like the Microsofts and the Googles and all the rest of them can guarantee that data resides in that country. It's like, oh yeah, we can put your data in the EU, and it's like, yeah, but where in the EU? We want it in Germany, or we want it in insert country here. And so they're like, well, we're not going to use you anymore. We're going to move back to open desktop format, open exchange format stuff, and get rid of Windows entirely. And there's lots of countries that have.
Yep.
It was something I said earlier is the US military is the single largest install base of Red Hat Linux in the world.
Yep. and you can bet they're managing their own spin of it as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting move. Like you said, lots of European countries are doing that. And it's all about data sovereignty and protecting their infrastructure, because if Microsoft pulls the pin, or the US government says you can't export it there anymore, or there's some sort of trade war over it and they don't have access to Microsoft's products anymore, then suddenly they basically lose access to their data, because all their documents are locked up, all their information is locked up in proprietary formats, and they really want to move away from that and start to use the open document and open exchange formats. And, whatever software supports that, then they're free to move around. It sort of decouples the two, right? It decouples their data from their infrastructure, which is always a good idea.
Yeah, I mean that's the really nice thing about the way the EU approaches this sort of stuff, though, is that like, well, they want an open format. They don't want to be beholden to a Brussels-based corporation, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to trade a US corporate master for a European corporate master.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
This article that I linked to, the Times video article on it, this Schröder, I can't remember, Dirk Schröder is German state digitalization minister. Oh my God, that's a mouthful. And he says the geopolitical developments of the past few months have strengthened interest in the path that we've taken. The war in Ukraine revealed our energy dependencies, and now we see there are also digital dependencies. So yeah, it's exactly right. They're seeing this. We might be up a very dirty creek with no paddles if we don't do something about this. And Open Exchange, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Open Exchange is like Outlook but open sourced.
Oh, okay. I've not played with that, but yeah, I need to have a look at that. Nice, and it'll work with Firefox and Thunderbird and all those open mail platforms.
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. All right, very good. Well, that's an interesting. We'll keep. I think that idea is growing, and of course, as we were saying while we're off air, Australia will be the last country to adopt that, I'm sure.
Yes.
All right, then, with the banter out of the way, let's get on with the community news. Ian, take it away.
Yeah, mate. There's only two that I've got today. So GDG Brisbane, and we covered this. I think we covered this last fortnight. Build with AI 2026 event is on at the Precinct on April 17th at 5:30 p.m. The Precinct is in Brunswick Street in the Valley. And they've got a couple of good little workshops there. One with Karthik, who's Android GDE, building with AI, and another one with Lovey, who's another GDE, chaining MCP servers with 80K. So get along to that one. And the last one that I've got is Darwin. So their Build with AI event is on April 10th at 6 p.m. Again, it's a little way out, so register for that one. Oaks Darwin Elan Hotel in Darwin City, and they've got Gashan speaking.
Very good.
That's all I got.
It's all about the AIs.
Yep.
About the AIs. All right, then, let's get on with the news items. And speaking of being all about the AIs, we've got Supermicro. Well, not strictly Supermicro in trouble, but was it their CEO or one of their executives has been busted red-handed?
Co-founder.
Co-founder.
That's real bad.
Yeah.
You put this in here, Dave?
Yeah, so let me just start this article from Yahoo. So the hardware manufacturer's co-founder, Wally, was charged on Thursday with conspiring to smuggle about 2.5 billion with a B, too many billions in this instance, worth of NVIDIA GPUs to China. What they were doing, they were routing servers with the band H200 and B200 GPUs. They were basically building like fake servers and smuggling them inside there, and
going via a third party, right? Going around. Yeah. We anticipated that. We predicted that's what they'd be doing,
and not the first time they've done it.
Right.
They got busted back in 2006. They pleaded guilty in federal court to illegally exporting computer equipment to Iran.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's. I mean, I would expect this to happen. Like, yes, people will be smuggling this sort of stuff, but like Supermicro is not hard up for $1.
No.
Right? You would think that the co-founder of Supermicro is doing okay.
Why does he need to do this? Yeah, ask the question.
Yeah. I don't know. I looked at this and went, okay, maybe it's a little bit of like she said type stuff, but no, there's actual like data in here that he was messaging with this Southeast Asian company that's been unnamed, saying, these new rules come in place, like the export restrictions come in place from the US on this date. We need to get these machines shipped by May 16th or something. And then like text back and forth between them. Yeah. This wasn't even hey, we were just shipping machines to a Southeast Asian company that we're allowed to, and they're doing something dodgy. This is we have to get these machines here so that we can get it. Dodgy.
I wonder if it's just a matter of like specifically driven that it was like, well, I can get a big payday from this, or if he's getting leaned on.
Yeah, well, it could be both.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It could. It could be a
just
little bit of
putting
both.
that out there, right? Like, very much could be getting pressure from the mainland.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Supermicro themselves are trying to hose it down and sidestep it and say that, we haven't got any problems. It was a rogue actor. We'll see. I don't know if they've quite proved that to be the case yet, but that's the card they're trying to play.
Yeah. Here's the quote here. We need to speed up these before May 13th. A few days later, the indictment notes, he texted again, we can ship all your 512 B200s by February. Let's run fast before May 13th.
Right.
Yeah, and this is like the co-founder of the company that's texting, so they can't sidestep that.
Nope.
All right. Well, now was it just the B200s that were banned, or were there previous other chips banned? Because
there's been some things that were banned and now are not banned because they're no longer leading edge,
like the V100s. Because if you go onto eBay now and you look up V100s, the ones that are on the SXM2 interface, there's tons of them, and they're all from China, and you can get them for about $100.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they weren't banned because they're all coming from China.
I wonder how many of them are like actually legit though.
Oh, they seem to be legit. I've seen a few AI creators using them and adapting them. Right. There's a PCIe adapter card you can get to put them in your PC. And it might be my next little project to play around with. So they seem to be legit.
That sounds like an AI data center, and you're going to have to supply your own power, mate.
I think so. Yeah. Well, it's on that same dodgy circuit as well, the one that charges my car, so I'm going to have to sort that out.
Nice.
All right. While we're speaking of people and people movements, we've got one here. Google Cloud Partner Program Chief departs. Microsoft former channel sales head steps in. We're excited to announce David Smith as our new channel chief and head of partner programs, reporting to Kevin. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. In his new role, David would lead an agentic transformation of our channel. They've got to shoehorn agentic in there somewhere, don't they? They just have to.
It's all about the keywords, mate.
Oh, yeah. A Google Cloud spokesman tells CRN.
Yeah, so Colleen Capassi? I can't pronounce her last name. I'm sorry, Colleen, I butchered it. Has suddenly left Google and replaced by Microsoft's former worldwide channel sales head. Now, there's no real indication of why Colleen has left. The article says that she's departing to pursue opportunities outside of Google.
Now, Colleen was the one that started this whole new channel partner thing with the different tiers and the new credential stuff, which some people like it, some people not so much.
Yeah. It's sort of it's got about the same sort of reviews as VMware's new partner program.
Yeah.
Poor.
So we might see some changes there. Now, this guy, he's a bit of a veteran. He was at Microsoft for quite a long time. He's been there. Smith spent 27 years at Microsoft from 98 until joining Google in November 25, and then he's quickly moved into this head of partner position.
Ooh, maybe he could bring across the action pack that we used to enjoy on the Microsoft side.
The action pack?
Yeah, Action Pack for a long time. I mean, it's still around. It's I've forgotten what the name of it is now. It's not quite as generous. But it cost you like $500 a year, and it gave you software licenses and things like that. So now the partner one gives you for like I think it's similar. It's about $500. You don't get all your Windows Server licenses anymore, but you do get like 5 M365 licenses.
Yeah.
And
the action pack used to come with back when I had it, it used to come with like a CD folder, like a fabric CD folder that had Microsoft Action Pack embroidered in it. And it used to come with all the CDs in there of like Windows Server and Windows Desktop and Office and Visual Studio and all that stuff was there.
Well, I might have had other ways of getting that software back then, but anyway.
Well, we all did. We all did, but, I got given Action Pack as part of a work thing and, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And it's a legal way of getting it.
At least you get something for your $500, right? Not like today where you pay $500 and then 3 months later they pull the program and they shift it to another one and they give you some crappy AI credits that you can't use.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah. Hey, your baseline quota's out, mate. You can't use AI anymore.
You're done. All right, well, that's an interesting change. I've no doubt he's going to shake up the partner program because it's not been very well received the way it's structured at the moment. All right, moving on. You can migrate your management cluster. Now, this is a feature we've been waiting for, Dave.
Yeah. So, we do like to keep a little placeholder for like Broadcom/VMware stuff.
Yep.
We've talked about it a lot. It had been quiet for a bit. We hadn't heard much. But there's a new feature in GCVE. You're now going to be able to... So, okay, let me spin back a little bit. Over the last few months, GCVE's been evolving so that you could have mixed generation clusters. Right? And we're like, okay, so the original instances of GCVE were all VE1 nodes. If you're building an environment today, then you would get VE2s. You could still do ones, but why would you? But if you built one and you did all the migration and you built out NSX and you did all that work on VE1s, you go, actually, I kind of need more capacity now. I kind of want to, kind of air quotes, I want to tech refresh my VMware environment. What's my path? And, recently, okay, you now could add VE2 nodes as a secondary cluster, but all the management plane, so where vCenter lives, where the NSX managers lived, all sat on that legacy VE1 cluster. You couldn't get rid of it. That wasn't your management cluster.
Be there forever and a day.
Yeah. But not anymore. You can now have your management environment moved across to your new cluster.
Oh, that's so nice.
And that means that now you can not only migrate your VMs from your old VE1 nodes to your VE2 nodes, but now you can go, well, I want this cluster to be the primary cluster, migrate all the management stuff and get rid of that VE1 cluster entirely.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sort of stick around and just cost you a ton of money.
That's right.
Yeah, great. Yeah, because you kind of would have to go, if you weren't running a management cluster, like specifically just a management cluster, you have to be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I could scale it back down to like 3 nodes.
Yep.
But now you can just get rid of it altogether.
But on the flip side, Google wouldn't want that legacy hardware kicking around. No. They were busting at the chops to get this to migrate to the VE2. They want to deprecate all the VE1 nodes altogether.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's just power that's getting used in their data center for no reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, it's nice to see that even with the rug pull that happened from Broadcom for all of the hosted VMware solutions, it's good to still see that GCVE is getting development attention at Google.
Yep.
And I don't know if we covered this or not, but back in January, it's like we're in the last half of the year, but we're not really.
It's nearly
January
April.
20. Yeah, I know. It's nearly Easter. Years disappearing on us. Stretch private clouds capable of hosting both V1 and 2 nodes are now available in Sydney, and so Australia, Southeast 1 A and B, and also Germany.
Nice.
So yeah, that was one that I missed completely, but yeah, it got rolled out in January.
Yeah. So this migrate management VMs became public preview feature on March 10. So expect it to go GA anytime soon, I'd imagine. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about this Strait of Hormuz hubbub. Well,
we're all experts on the Straits of Hormuz now.
I know. But look, it affects. I mean, we're not the only podcast talking about it. Trust me, right?
Yeah.
It affects everything. This Strait of Hormuz thing being closed, and specifically for us, helium. Now, who would have thunk it? Helium, right? So helium's a critically important element in the production of chips. And it's used, I think there's two, I don't know exactly, but I'm sure on one of those big whopping machines from TSMC, they use, actually, there's a really good Veritasium story on how that thing works. And they do mention, I can't remember the process at the moment, but they do mention that helium's used. It's used for the cooling and it's used for flushing stuff out. So very important in the production of silicon wafers.
And MRIs.
And for blowing up balloons at kids' parties. Like
the most important one.
Must not forget about that, okay? We really into the helium, and Qatar's produces what? Something like 30% of the global helium production, and they can't currently get it out. So it's a byproduct of liquid natural gas, and they can't get anything out of Qatar because it's obviously trapped up in that strait. And they're just shutting the wells down. That's the result of that.
And Australia, we import all of ours. We don't have any local production.
No, although we do have one of the second largest natural LNG producer in the world. So you would think that we should produce some helium, but no, we don't.
No, yeah. So it's you got to assume that all of the chip manufacturers are going to be keeping some reserves around, and same goes for hospitals. They've got to be able to top off the tanks on the MRIs, but how long can that last?
It's going to be the CPU apocalypse.
Well, it just affects. I mean, we're already got high bandwidth memory consuming all the fab time, and now we're going to have problems getting helium to even make that. Like, it's affecting and this is not going to only affect TSMC. That can produce the 4 nanometer stuff, right? It's going to produce all the manufacturers. That even produce like the bigger scale stuff.
Yeah, the older environment. It's across the board. Fuel is, I mean, it's not the least part of it, but when you add on that helium, fertilizer, everything stacks on.
Everything stacks on. Yep. Now
it's not something we're covering as an article later today, but I've anecdotally been monitoring a bunch of the service provider subreddits, and people are talking about their Cisco orders and HP orders. Like I saw one guy, they'd put in orders for a whole bunch of UCS infrastructure, so it's like their unified computing.
Yeah.
Back in November, which was supposed to be a February delivery and then got delayed a bit, and now has been completely canned, saying that you can't have it unless you pay more. So this is a contract signed, and POs have been out for months. Right? People trying to get 1,000 laptops from HP, same deal.
Can't get them.
I don't care that you ordered them 6 months ago. You can't have them. They now cost this much more.
So what's the legalities around that? Can they just, I mean, they've got a signed contract, a purchase order in place.
The terms say that they can. They can.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
We can give you them any money you've paid back. But you can't have this hardware.
Wow. So, sweat your assets. If you've got gear that's running, keep it running. That's there's going to be, suddenly there's the use for the old school techs that can come in and switch CPUs and switch RAM and clean machines out and just keep the stuff going, because new stuff's not going to be so easy to get.
Yeah, maybe start stocking up on spare parts for your old tin. If you have been,
start hoarding it. Start hoarding it.
Maybe Germany for DDR3. Like it's
it was like I said, it was like new. It was new stock to me. It's like, it's doing the job. So
yeah, and the old thing of like if you've got some old Dell kit that sits in a data center, get some spares off eBay or some computer recycler in the country so that you've got spare kit when something breaks.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We slow down on the e-waste, guys. Like if it's still functional, hang on to it because we can't just keep scrapping stuff at such a heady rate anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw one this morning where a company, they had all their servers, the disks in them. If they fail, the vendor has been offering to pay them like $1,000 rather than replacing the disks, and then because the disks now are $5,000 each.
And they'd rather take them and attempt a repair on them to upcycle them. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you thought the COVID price hikes were bad.
Yeah.
I could go back to the COVID fuel price. That was awesome.
That was a nice couple of weeks there, wasn't
it? Yeah. Take me back to the COVID fuel price. It's my young fella found a photo the other day of the fuel price in like the early 90s. And where fuel was sub $1 a litre.
Oh, yeah. And then the Kuwait war happened and it jumped over $1 and everyone was freaking out. Yeah.
It was like 83 cents a litre or something like that. Yep. And he was like, Dad, do you remember when fuel was 83 cents a litre? I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that was back in the days where I used to get 350 Ks to a tank, like an 80 litre tank of fuel, and I didn't care.
Yeah, cars were way more inefficient.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. I think the best thing is keep roll boxes running, and don't. Let's just hope this is all out of the way soon because it's pushing the price of everything up. Speaking of spending, Google and Wiz. Some of us have got some cash to throw around. Google closes $32 billion Wiz deal in largest acquisition ever. Now, we've been tracking this story, and finally, it's done. Google completes its largest ever acquisition, $32 billion. The deal is 2.5 times larger than Google's previous record of $12.5 billion Motorola purchase. Wiz brings real-time cloud security, and also in this article, Shah reveals how the 4-year-old startup Rapid Growth to unicorn status made it an irresistible target to Google Cloud's ambition. So they're not an old company. Israeli software company Wiz, established in 2018, and quickly caught the eye of Google. And we've been tracking this story for how long now? Maybe almost going up to 2 years.
Yeah, probably 2 years.
Within a space of 6 years, Google put in this astronomical offer, and it's done. It's done.
And I was interested to find out that Wiz was actually founded by a team of former Microsoft security employees.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, the idea here is that Wiz covers all of the cloud platforms, so all 3 of the major ones. It probably covers some smaller ones too, some evil corp clouds and the likes. But yeah, I didn't know a huge amount about Wiz, just because I'd never really looked it up. But yeah, I was really interested to see how much capability this Wiz product has got. It's pretty cool.
So what do? You just point it at your org and it just goes away and looks at it and tells you where all the vulnerabilities are? It's as simple as that?
But from what I've read, pretty much.
Wow.
It's pretty cool bit of kit. By the looks of it, uses a bit of AI in there as well, because according to Palo Alto CEO, AI will never make it into security.
No. At $32 billion, AI is making it in, all right?
Yeah. But yeah, it uses a bit of AI to do some analysis and sort of reduce the noise that SecOps people see, because I can imagine, I can't even imagine being in SecOps. The amount of noise that these guys would see is astronomical.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there you go. Pretty cool product by the looks of it.
Yeah. It's interesting that it covers all the clouds, right? So I guess you're going to get some dashboard, and then it's going to be able to integrate with like all your SaaS products and all your clouds, and then it just gives you an all singing, all dancing, all in one location.
Yep. Yeah. So a single pane of glass across all of your environments.
Well, there you go. Hopefully we don't have to hear from that again. No, we probably will. There's probably plenty more there. And of course, we've got to get to use the thing when it comes along. All right, let's move on with a bit of Google news. Firebase Studio, another one goes to the graveyard. What's going on with Firebase?
That's a quick turnaround.
Pretty quick turnaround on this one. Yeah.
So Firebase Studio was Google's first sort of foray into an AI studio environment, like an AI IDE type thing. It was specifically aimed at Firebase, obviously. But it was essentially
so you could build an app, web page, and back end sort of all in one thing, right? That's the idea of it.
It was a full stack, and I'm going to use some Google nomenclature here, a full stack AI workspace.
Right.
There you go. So essentially it's been replaced now by both Google AI Studio and Anti-Gravity. And so instead of keeping yet another thing going that does the same thing as Google AI Studio and Anti-Gravity does, they're just going to bin it. Because it's specifically targeted at Firebase. That doesn't mean that your Firebase stuff will go away. And it's interesting to note here that this article says core Firebase services will continue to work outside of Firebase Studio. Like some people think that because they're getting rid of Firebase Studio, they're going to get rid of Firebase.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there'd be a lot of dependencies on Firebase, wouldn't there, at the moment? Like, how do you...
For Studio, probably, but not the other way around.
Right.
Firebase itself was a product well before Firebase Studio came about.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like, there'd be a lot of apps and a lot of people using Firebase. I mean, they can't sunset
Google
it overnight.
Uses it prolifically. For authentication stuff.
Right.
So yeah, it's going. You got to migrate over. There's a pathway there to migrate over to Anti-Gravity. There's another pathway there to migrate to Google AI Studio. You choose your adventure type thing. And you've got until March 27 next year before it is completely shut down. But as of June 22nd this year, you can no longer create new workspaces in Firebase Studio. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. Pretty quick
shutdown, yeah. Well, I mean, they'd have usage statistics in the background, I'd imagine, and they'd probably see that it's been waning ever since AI Studio came along.
No, this is actually a user feedback thing. So Google are doing this because the vast majority of developers are like, you've got this tool over here that does this, you've got this tool over here that does this, you've got this tool over here that does this. Can we have one tool that does it instead of having three?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And just put all your efforts into one tool. Yeah.
Yep. And so now you've got
there are 4 tools.
yeah, there are. There's a whole heap of them. But now you've got AI Studio, which is the online thing, and you've got Anti-Gravity, which is your IDE on your desktop, and it's done.
All right, cool. I'll have to go and give AI Studio a bit of a spin then and try and create something. I've got something in mind. Be interesting. But in the meantime, as Anthropic clashed with the Department of Defense, Google Cloud's CEO quietly met Pentagon officials signaling a change. Article in Times of India. They don't want to talk to Anthropic, but they'll sure as talk to OpenAI and Google. Interesting.
Yeah, this one's a bit fun. So obviously the Pentagon or the US has classed Anthropic as a supply chain risk.
Stitch up.
We covered that the other week.
Yeah,
which is a bit interesting. So the US Defense or Department of War, I think they call themselves these days, Defense Department, have they've been going out trying to find an AI tool that they can use for targeting, for war efforts.
Right.
Obviously, Anthropic vetoed that, as did Google a few years ago. Google had, I think it was like 4,000 Googlers wrote a letter to the CEO saying, we don't want to do this.
That was in 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. But CEO of Google Cloud has met with the Pentagon about implementing Google AI.
Yep. And ever since that time too, the Pentagon has been a little bit standoffish when it comes to using Google's. They don't want that same situation to occur again.
Well, and they still are. So the article here actually says that the US officials are still very concerned about using Google technology because, they might have the same event happen again where Google pulls a contract out and says we're not participating in this anymore, and then the US department is left stranded because they don't have a provider.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this because the use case, they're not asking the AI to directly attack and kill targets.
No, right? It looks like this deal is specifically about non-classified networks.
Yeah, it is. It's their genai.mil portal, right, which is used for civilian and military personnel to develop custom AI agents for unclassified tasks such as document drafting and project planning using natural language prompts without requiring coding skills. There you go. There's the official blurb.
That's using AI the same way any business today would try and implement AI, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
because they've got a much more insidious AI has been tapped that we'll get into later for the kill all the humans program.
The target assignment. Yep. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. I mean, if another entity is using, you would imagine that the Google Cloud Suite would come along with that as well, right? And if another entity is using the Google Suite, then, I'm all for that.
Yep. Assuming that they're not using it for targeting humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get onto that.
I mean, hey, IBM's always been keen on helping, organizations. They did a lot of interesting work in the 40s.
Yeah. Didn't they just?
Meanwhile, Google's got AI overviews. We love the AI overviews, don't we? Yeah.
No.
Unfortunately,
not at all.
I find myself using them more and more, which I just really don't want to, but it's just so easy. Google says it will let UK publishers opt out of AI overviews. Google says it will eventually allow sites to opt out of AI overviews features in search, making it easy for users to change the default search engine without annoying interruptions. This is an article on the Register.
Now, I read this as companies could opt out of being included in AI overview.
Yeah,
research.
I think it's a robot.txt thing.
Right.
Yeah. But they've conflated the two things here, and they've said they'll also make it easier for users to change the default search engine without annoying interruptions. Now, honestly, I've never gone to try. I assume it's in the browser. I've never gone to try to change my default search engine in the browser. So I'm not even aware of these interruptions that occur.
Only if I've had to use Edge, in which case then I change it from Bing to Google. Because no one uses Bing.
Because you don't want to be accidentally binging things.
Yeah. No. It's a crap name and a crap search engine.
Yeah. What's that meme for band name? Crap name, crap band. Yep. That applies. Now, the change, this article doesn't go specifically into what that change is going to be, but it did say that Publishers Association has noted a 19% decline in click-through rates to academic reference services, saying it was likely to be a result of Google's conduct in its search services AI features. So there's definitely an impact. Zero-click internet is making an impact. 19% decline. And how long has it been in place? It hasn't even been a year. Has it been about a year that it's been in place?
Yeah, probably 12 months.
Yeah.
Thereabouts, yeah. So, I mean, it ain't changing. It's just going to get worse and worse. And, I have been using it. Unfortunately, I have been using it. It's either
going agentic, mate. It's going to be it'll be even more different, right? Because you won't be like, I'm going to just search this thing. Now you'll send a message to your agent being like, how do I do this thing? Or I want to get this. And then it will go off and do.
Or it will do it, right? It will do
Yeah.
it. And then, I'll Google something and go, why am I Googling like a boomer? I'll just go straight to the chat interface and ask it directly there, and then bang, you get your answer.
Well, and we'll cover this a little bit later, is the way that people search is changing. I mean, we all grew up in the days of Alta Vista and Yahoo Search and
Dogpile.
Dogpile and Ask Jeeves. That's it, Ask Jeeves. I always remember the little servant there with
the
his
guy
tray.
holding the tray.
He's like the Jenkins logo.
It's very similar.
Yeah. And obviously the early days of Google where you were keyword searching. No one, the kids these days don't keyword search. They
all about
ask
context.
a question
It's all
to
about
the
context.
search engine. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get on some security news. What have we got here? We've got exploited Google Chrome 0 days added to US must patch list. Now, it seems to happen all the time.
Update your Chromes, people.
Update your Chrome. Always update your Chrome. I mean, there's no excuses.
Well, it's not just Chrome. So the vulnerability was found in Chromium.
Aha.
Which obviously is the base of Chrome and Edge and Brave and a whole heap of other browsers that use Chrome or Chromium. Opera is another one. Oh, God, I haven't heard of that one for a few years. But yeah, so there's two vulnerabilities that have been listed. Google's updated. CVE 2026 3909 and 3910. The technical details are withheld because it's an active exploit and it is being patched. So from what they can find here, researchers who reported the vulnerabilities said the first one is an out-of-bounds memory write issue in the Skier 2D graphics engine, and the V8 JavaScript engine is also being exploited. So that might be the two CVEs. But there's no details about how the exploit works or what it is or where it occurs. Just that it affects Chromium, and you need to update anything that's Chromium based.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I just did a Chrome update before we started the show today, so I feel nice and safe. SOC teams can't keep up as AI accelerates cyber attacks. Sounds pretty bad, Ian.
Yeah, this one's a bit interesting. So, and I mentioned it earlier on, the Palo Alto CEO who reckons that AI will never make it into cybersecurity. Well, guess what? AI is attacking cybersecurity teams.
And the only way to fight it is with AI, right?
Is with AI, yeah.
Rise of the machines.
Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
So, So this Elastic Co. Everybody knows Elastic, the service that you use to do Kibana and all that sort of stuff. Here, their general manager or global general manager of security, his name is Mike Nichols, says attackers can now move from initial compromise to meaningful system impact in as little as 11 minutes. So once upon a time, this was, you used to sit there probing every little tiny endpoint and figuring out what was vulnerable and what wasn't. And
you could be in there for weeks trying to figure that out.
It could be in there for months. There's instances of attackers being in an environment for years without detection, and then finding that one vulnerability, that one system that hasn't been patched, that one that sits over in the corner that no one knows how to use, and getting in through that, and off they go. That's been reduced with AI down to 11 minutes. So at this speed, the manual playbooks that SecOps teams use, they're useless. He's quoted as saying, at this speed, manual playbooks, are no longer just slow, they're mathematically impossible. So Nichols has warned that the growing use of AI by attackers is dramatically lowering the barrier to entry for sophisticated cyber activity. Right. You remember back in the 90s, you used to get the script kiddies? Yeah. They'd run a script against your website to try and brute force it. Yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
There's a book. I was just looking over my bookshelf. I don't know if I've got it there anymore. Hacking Exposed. Did you ever read that?
No.
Oh, great. It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Big
used
thick
to.
tome of like how all the exploits worked.
Yeah, nice. So I used to hit up the hackthisSite.net, I think it was called.
Yeah.
It was a box. You used to go through all these challenges. They were like capture the flag type challenges where you'd do a like really basic JavaScript exploit, and then you'd start looking for different things. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at that. So he's quoted here as saying, in fact, AI is increasingly being used to identify vulnerabilities, generate exploits, and automate elements of attack development that previously required highly specialized teams. So we're in a situation now where AI is being used for evil. We know that it's capable of doing that, and it is much, much faster at recognizing patterns and detecting things that we miss than humans.
And hackers don't care. They'll just YOLO it. They'll just let it go,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You know,
give it a wallop.
Yeah, just let it at it. How can a human respond to that? How can they be that quick? I mean, the only way to do it is to YOLO an AI from the other direction, right? Like,
that's exactly right.
You got no choice.
Literally. So the idea here is that attackers are using AI against us. We need to use AI against them in order to detect those. And I said it earlier, security teams are flooded with email alerts or network traffic alerts. It's just alert central. Yep. So use AI to deal with the just plethora of alerts you get every single day.
Sort the chaff from the wheat.
Yep,
right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, get rid of all the chaff. Just pick out the kernels of information that you need, and that way teams can look at it and go, oh, right, this is that sort of an attack. Let's deploy this thing against it and do it in real time as opposed to in hours' time.
All right. Shall we do it? Let's get on with the AI wars.
AI wars.
All right, and the first one for AI wars. First one for AI wars this week. NVIDIA wants a piece of the pie. NemoClaw, and along with the NemoClaw, their agentic enter to OpenClaw and agentic agents. That's like an ATM machine, isn't it? Agentic agents.
Yep.
NVIDIA's
agents are
answer
the
is
most agentic.
is NemoClaw. They want a piece of the pie, and I don't think it's out yet, but NemoClaw is NVIDIA's upcoming open source AI agent platform engineered for enterprise-grade security, privacy protection, and scalable task automation. And along with it, they've got a bunch of little models as well, Nemo models that come along, and you can get your agents to do stuff for you. Interestingly,
NanoClaw for security sandboxing, PicoClaw for embedded hardware, and ZeroClaw for high-performance edge deployments. Can we find any other names with claw in it?
Oh, yeah.
It's like all the claws.
Machine.
Yeah, machine claw for...
Yeah, it's certainly, it's kicked off a thing, hasn't it? The fact that it was... they do a comparison here between OpenClaw and NanoClaw, and of course, it's developed by NVIDIA. It has an upcoming release, enterprise-grade AI agent platform. Of course, it's secure, famously unlike OpenClaw, and it's backed with NVIDIA's model and NVIDIA's GPU accelerator. Of course, it's just another angle to sell their GPUs and their hardware, of course.
For sure.
Because if you don't get in on it, you're going to miss the boat.
Yep.
But it'd be interesting to see how that pans out. I think everyone's going to have one of these agent management things. Everyone's got to get in on that. What else we got here? U.S. government to use
Palantir. You know, the evil orbs from Lord of the Rings.
I really have trouble pronouncing that. Palantir AI. So this harks back to what we were talking about earlier. So this is the Killbot AI, right?
Yeah, this is owned by known ghoul Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
Now, Palantir and Maven artificial intelligence systems will become an official program of record, U.S. Department of Security of Defense Steve Feinberg said in a letter to Pentagon leaders. A move that locks in long-term use of Palantir's weapons targeting technology across the U.S. military. Now, this is the one, I don't know how I feel about this, because they're not directly using this to assign targets and kill targets. It's used to filter the data, right? And then there'll still be a human in the loop, well, for now, right, that actually pushes the button and says go. Am I reading that correct?
Well, until they enable their agentic version of it, right? And then I just have to say, at Maven, kill all the humans.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back.
I'll be back. Yeah, I'm going to go make coffee. You kill
Yeah. So this one, from what I've read of Maven, this is already used for detecting and classifying targets in imagery. So you can feed it video imagery of a certain area, and it will classify the target into priorities or severity of target, and send the solution out to whoever.
Right. And we saw how well that worked in Iran with the painted F-16s on the runway.
And a school.
Yeah.
And a school.
Great job.
Yeah.
AI ain't quite there yet, guys.
No.
Not quite there. So, despite Anthropic's protest over it, they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So they could always go.
This article is actually quoted as saying Maven is a command and control software platform that analyzes battlefield data and identifies targets. So it is already being used for that.
Yeah. Which should be handy if you're, a pilot. And you've got a lot of data being thrown at you already, and you need some way of triaging all that.
Yeah.
Sure.
At 1,000 miles per hour, you don't have much time to think.
You don't have much time.
And it says here, it's already the primary AI operating system for the US military, which has carried out thousands of targeted strikes against Iran over the last 3 weeks. So it is being used in anger right now.
But not by the winner of the FIFA Peace Prize, surely.
You mean the peace president?
Pieces.
Yeah, well, okay, that's an interesting one. And, how long before the killbots are making decisions on their own? That's a scary proposition. But in the meantime, the Australian Department of Defence, or the Australian government, in this Department of Industry, Science and Resources, has put out expectations of data centres and AI infrastructure developers. It's a new document that sets out the Australian government's expectations around the development of AI infrastructure. Meeting these national expectations will be the foundation of their social licence to operate in Australia. So how does this work? Do they have to work in accordance to this now?
Yeah, so this is a guideline. I guess if you're trying to get support from government for your permits and all that kind of jazz, it's not so much like, well, if you're completely funding it of your own and you're doing it your own back, then you have to follow this.
Right.
But it's the golden path for you to take. And a big part of it is you're going to build DCs, right? These massive AI data centers. You can't just build it and think that you can soak up like all our daytime sort of free electricity. You will need to build your own generation, your own transmission.
Yep.
Right? You cannot push the burden of that onto the citizens of the country.
Yeah,
nice.
I see this as a sort of pathway to approval for a data center, for a new data center build. Whether it's government funded or partly government funded or completely self-funded, I think this will be a pathway that the government is like, unless you meet these 4 expectations, you're not getting a license to build a data center. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Building your own energy supply is expectation number 2. So it is the second most important in this, the first most important being that it needs to prioritise Australia's national interest, which that should always be the priority. You're building something in Australia, it needs to prioritise Australia.
Yeah. So, this is, 6 months or so ago, we talked about how the South Australian energy regulator was getting so much demand for new connection requests. I think their backlog of requests was something like 4 times the total grid size.
Right. And this is mainly because they're 100% renewable now.
Correct. Yeah. So
and
it's very attractive for a lot of organizations. And they're like, yeah, that's great that you want to come here, but you can't just come and foist that upon everybody else to have to deal with.
So the 5 expectations are prioritising Australia's national interests, supporting Australia's energy transition to renewables, sustainable and effective water use, very important.
Yeah.
Investment in Australian skills and workforce, right? So you're not bringing in any overseas people. Let's get all the people here working on it. Research, innovation, and local capability. Right, so let's reinvest back in Australia.
Yeah, and I think that I honestly, okay, expectation 1 is a given, but I think 2 and 3 are really quite critical. Our power is already astronomically expensive, so let's make sure that data centers are bringing their own capability with them. And sustainable and efficient use of water is critical in this country. We are a huge country, and water is sometimes very scarce and other times so prolific you can't store it, as is the case in Western Queensland and New South Wales at the moment.
Yeah. Well, that's good that we've got that in place, but the US, not so much. The US has this problem. Just to finish the show out, speaking of power subjects always seem to come up when we're talking about AI. Story on IT News, US needs more energy development to power AI, Google president says. We are not full throttle on energy. Now, the US may not be scaling energy supplies fast enough to meet the demands of AI expansion.
I don't think that's a may. I think that the US is not scaling energy supplies fast enough. There's no way. The AI capability is growing at a phenomenal rate, and the energy production is not.
It certainly doesn't seem that way.
No.
When they're talking about restarting reactors and building their own reactors, it certainly doesn't seem that. And you know what? The zoning is strange in the US as well. When you can have, a neighborhood and there's a fence and there's a huge data center that backs up right behind the neighborhood. Like it's just bizarre in my book. Normally you've got like a road or some division between that zoning areas. I played City Skylines. I know how the zoning stuff works. It's just bizarre that's allowed to happen. And of course, they're tapping into the local power and pulling it away from the local residents, and that's just going to push the price of the power up in that county, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, our data centers for the most part are in industrial complexes where there is multiple feeds of power for reasons that should be very obvious. Like you've got lots and lots and lots of heavy hitters of power there, so it makes sense to have multiple feeds in. And so it just makes sense for us to put data centers in those areas.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The US doesn't seem to have that logic in place.
No, they just build them greenfield, don't they?
Yeah. It's like, there's a spare block of land there. Let's whack a data center on it and see how we go.
Yeah.
Your next door neighbour's an 80-year-old veteran, but, she'll be right.
Yeah, different geography as well, I guess, that helps that. But, build a data center out in the desert, put heaps of solar arrays and batteries there. I mean, I think we're getting to the point where that's viable, especially in this country, right?
Yeah, well, there was a solar generation system that was tested in the Australian desert a while back, and it was like a whole heap of mirrors that focused the sunlight on a tower that boiled water and ran a turbine.
That was the salt thing, right? So
molten salt.
Molten salt, that's right. Yeah, it holds the heat a lot longer.
Mm.
So we're going to have to start seeing some innovation on these ideas. And interestingly enough, old Donald Trump has paid a French company $1 billion to cancel a a windmill contract.
Right.
I love that. I love paying people to not do the right thing.
Yeah, we won't get into that now, but it's just like, what the?
My head is spinning.
Yeah,
literally.
My head is. All right, well, look, it's been a good show. It's about time to wrap it up, so we'll finish up there. Don't forget, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Go to Apple Podcasts, write a review that really helps the show out. While you're on YouTube, why don't you start the discussion there and smash that like button? That would help us out as well. You can contact the show, contact@gcbbytes.com.au. Find us on the web, www.gcbbytes.com.au. And don't forget, today's sponsors are Hive-Tech Solutions, Technofish Consulting, and Mantle Group. So that's it from us. Anything else to add, guys?
No, I got to get some work done.
Let's set our piece. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I just went to askjeeves.net. Don't go. It's just like weird ads and stuff.
It's still going. Are you kidding me?
I think it turned into
I got to look now. And of course, I've got an AI review on Ask Jeeves.
Oh, no, askjeeves.net. It still works for me. Ask Jeeves AI. Look, they've even doing the AI thing.
Askjeeves.net. Wow.
And Ask Jeeves is enhanced by Google. Literally, their search engine is Google.
Yeah.
Enhanced by Google. There you go.
Yeah, good times.
Wow.
Yeah.
And giving me 90s flashbacks. Okay.
Yep.